too long ago, we looked at some of the grimmest... Andy? New studio? Today? Oh, yeah, no, I am right outside. If you could just do the intro for me, I'll be right up. All right, bye.
Not too long ago, we looked at some of the grimmest endings in games that you can stumble into way too easily. We say some because down in the comments, you folks shared plenty more examples of games where you slipped and fell into a game's worst outcome, much to your dismay. You may have been gunning for the good ending, but you still bumbled into the bad one. Strap in then for your suggestions on the terrible endings you can easily get by accident. Beware massive spoilers for the following games. Where the hell have you been?
Sorry, I was at the old studios.
Well, why didn't you come here? We sent an email.
I didn't get it.
It was titled, "You may already have won millions of dollars."
Well, yeah, it was definitely in my spam then.
Well, I did that as a joke, Ellen. All right, quickly.
Give me the mic.
Oh, fine, I'm taking the mic off.
Thalassophobia is a fear of the sea, not to be confused with Ted Lassophobia, which is a fear of gentle sitcoms about American football managers in Richmond. Those suffering from the first phobia might have a hard time playing Dredge. In this fishing game with a dark twist, you take control of a little boat and sail off to catch various sea creatures and salvage items from the waters, taking care not to get got by any nearby Lovecraftian sea monsters. And it's this Lovecraftian story element that means that there are multiple endings to a fishing game, although the bad ending is much easier to get, as pointed out by commenters like Kelly Restio 9846, who wrote, "Dredge deserves to be on this list. It's a neat linear autopilot into the bad ending, and a number of careful, intentional, counterintuitive actions for the good." Indeed, take all the things you collect throughout the game to Mysterious Island Guy the Collector, and you'll find out that, whoops, despite his name, you weren't actually supposed to do that. What you should have done was spoken to some other NPCs who would set you on course for the good ending. Problem is, the first of these NPCs is on an unmarked and abandoned island. Oh. Cool. Helpful. Love that. Miss that NPC or pick the wrong conversation option further down the line with another resident of the islands, and sorry buddy, your chances of a good ending are as sunk as a boat destroyed by a Lovecraftian horror. Happens more often than you'd think. So, as commenter Kelly said, many players will indeed be autopiloted into the bad ending, where you bring back the fisherman's dead wife, but she's joined by a ginormous tentacle monster with glowy red eyes. Ah, this can't be good. Yup, everything is on fire. That definitely qualifies as a bad ending. In the elusive good ending, on the other hand, you save the day with your heroic virtuous fishing and make a noble sacrifice. Wait, sacrifice? I guess that's as good an ending as you're gonna get in a game like Dredge.
Come on, Bullet. Let's go find this kid.
Generally, you're supposed to collect collectibles in video games. That's why they're called collectibles, not leave-aloneables. So it would be odd for a game to want us to stay away from its in-game collectible items. But Blair Witch does want exactly that, as pointed out by commenters like Jonathan Hennessy, who said, "A game that's easy to get the bad ending for is the Blair Witch. Getting the bad ending for this game involves picking up the stone statues, crushing the stick figures, and killing the enemy monsters. You know, the things that come naturally when you're engaging with a video game. If you interact with a single stone figurine or twiggy totem, sorry, but you've immediately locked yourself into the bad, so-called take his face ending. In this ending, you kill the Blair Witch's lackey Carter, only to discover, oh no, he was you all along. And so, because you deigned to show an interest in the game that Bloober Team made, you morph into Carter, get yourself stuck in a time loop, and worst of all, your dog Bullet leaves you. This is so mean because to get the good ending you'd have had to deny your gamer instincts by not only sparing the lives of horrible monsters that want to kill you, but also ignore something right at the start of the game that has an arrow pointing over it and gives you an achievement for picking it up.
What is this?
That's a bad ending in about 4 hours, is what that is.
It's just as well. The Empire was dying already, completely rotten. All that was needed was the right man to send it over the edge. But now, you'll be off over the horizon on an outbound ship. I wonder, are you chasing something or running away?
While some games give you a bad ending for doing specific things, others dish out a bad ending for your general playstyle. Take for example Dishonored, which judges you on the number of people you kill. Many commenters suggested it, including Platypusburger2800, who recalled, "In the original Dishonored, I got caught sneaking on the first level because I didn't know how to play the game yet. I killed so many people trying to escape that I had a permanently bad reputation, and even though I played the rest of the game silently and non-lethally, I still got the bad ending." Oof. Oof, indeed. Kill one too many people with rat swarms, or actually assassinate each level's target rather than elaborately torture them in ironic ways, and you can get the high chaos ending, where Samuel the boatman hates you, the lighthouse is under siege, and Admiral Havelock has Emily hostage on a high ledge. A high ledge which, if you're not quick or sneaky enough to save her, Emily can fall off too. This gives you the absolute worst ending, where the outsider narrates it as the death throes of an empire, the rat plague basically eats everyone, and worst of all, you see Sam the boatman's death at sea. No, Sam! And Emily, of course. Problem is, as Platypusburger2800 learned, you need to decide your playstyle from the start. Change it up too late and it's likely that you've already killed too many Dunwall residents to reach a low chaos good ending. Compounding this, NPC deaths have consequences beyond the level in which they die, as any and all deaths allow the plague and the rats to run rampant as the game progresses. So even if you change your ways, a bunch more people might just be dying off screen without you even stabbing a single target.
Stand clear. Oh, die, damn it. Firing.
Even if you purposefully aim for a clean hands no-kill run, there are still a base number of rats around. So every time you knock a guard unconscious rather than murder them, you need to dump them somewhere safe off the ground, usually on furniture, a roof, or in the nearest bin, so they don't get eaten alive and send you towards a horrible high chaos ending. Look, I promise I'm doing this for good reason. For Sam.
I bet they have plans for me, and they're deigning to inform me of them.
Not a conversation you're likely to avoid. I'll go with you if you want.
They'll weigh their words more carefully with you there.
Wouldn't be so sure. But 2 heads are better than 1.
No one is judgier than The Witcher 3, except for the doorman at Berghain. Like, I'm cool. You guys think I'm cool, right? I'm cool. The Witcher 3, though, is constantly having an opinion on the decisions you make as Geralt, and quietly tallying up your actions to judge what kind of ending you deserve. And if you want to avoid the worst ending, you have to make sure you don't fudge up some very specific decisions, as noted by commenter JustAliceR, who said, "Honestly, getting a Ciri dies ending in The Witcher 3 is far too easy. There's like 5 options you have to get right, and they'll feel like absolutely nothing moments until she flashes back to them in the final moments of the main game." Alice is right, you can be an absolute saint your whole playthrough, but if you choose the wrong action in 3 out of 5 very specific character moments with Ciri, you'll undermine Ciri's confidence, and Ciri will die in her climactic battle with the White Frost. Poor Geralt is left heartbroken, and in the final scene he is surrounded by monsters before it ominously cuts to black. Surely you can tell what these critical moments are, you might be thinking. Surely the right decision in these moments will be clear given how crucial they are to Ciri's continued survival. Oh yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? In one of the 5 decisive moments, Ciri is a bit stressed out, and instead of trying to lift her spirits with what would have been a fun snowball fight, you can tell her to relax, that she doesn't have to be good at everything, and take her to the pub for a drink.
That's strong.
Which, to be honest, also sounds pretty nice. Have you ever had a snowball fight? They're cold and wet. Have you ever had a pint? They're also cold and wet, but delicious. It turns out that this seemingly valid and good option is actually pretty depressing for Ciri.
Yeah. Pour me another.
In another of these pivotal decision-making moments, a furious Ciri is about to trash the laboratory of mysterious elf Avalak. You might think that it'd be wise to tell her to calm down and leave the lab untrashed, but this will just cause Ciri to doubt herself further, eroding your already shaky position in the whole keeping Ciri alive situation.
Calm down. The elf was right.
Aren't you supposed to cheer me up?
And if you decide to join her in a meeting at the Lodge of Sorceresses, perhaps just wanting to show your support, she'll actually feel extremely undermined to have her adoptive Witcher dad hovering around like the worst kind of helicopter parent.
If that is all, then...
Let's get some fresh air.
So, these were bad decisions, fine, but the game only reveals how bad they truly were at the end of the game when they replay in flashback in Ciri's head before she unconfidently staggers off into the white frost, never to be seen again. To be fair, the white frost sounds like a great place for a snowball fight. I'm sure she'll have a lovely time.
You may keep the promises you have made and be known as a benevolent ruler, but understand that doing so will leave little to spend on the kingdom's protection and may lead you to disaster. It is not easy to be popular and keep the treasury full, unless you are willing to sacrifice your personal wealth. But you may also choose to break those promises, to harm your people in order to save them.
If you want to be organised, you must keep an eye on your calendar. Wait, it's August? Since when? So when Fable III took the concept of time and ran it through a shredder in its second to last quest, forcing players into the bad ending, commenters like Emperor Dragon were extremely irked, saying, "Fable 3 for me, you spend the last act on a countdown, doing missions that each move you a month to the deadline until you get to 120 days left. There, it just throws you straight into the final fight, no warning or anything, just bam! Then it auto-saves." As soon as you take the crown of Albion off your big brother Logan, you discover that you have to raise a bunch of money lest Albion be wiped off the map.
If you do not succeed, everything we know will come to an end.
And players wanting a super good ending also have to fund all of the things they promised to the population of Albion, especially those who helped you get your crown.
I will keep my promise. Aurora will become part of Albion, and its people will be our equals in every way.
The Queen has spoken.
In order to afford the best ending, players can hunt down treasures, do side quests, or, as we've regularly talked about on Outside Xtra, become a landlord. For the good ending, I know. You receive rent from your tenants every 5 minutes you spend playing the game, so to pass the time and accumulate wealth, you might be playing the main questline. In this questline, your in-game calendar progresses forward around a month with each mission.
You are such a giving, magnanimous person. Very well, I will make the arrangements.
But when you start the final of these missions, time suddenly skips forward 131 entire days, and when you finish this mission, it automatically yanks you forward again another 121 days straight into the final battle.
Happy anniversary, Your Majesty. 1 year as Queen of Albion. Doesn't time just fly?
Truly the video game equivalent of that anxiety dream where you discover you have an exam but you never went to any of the lectures or did any of the reading, so you're definitely going to fail. This is a problem because you potentially haven't had the opportunity to transfer all the rent you've been paid into the nation's treasury, where it actually counts before the finale.
The day has come, Queen.
Or you simply hadn't raised enough before being unceremoniously yeeted into the final mission.
The attack has barely begun, but already we have suffered terrible casualties. We simply weren't ready.
If the game ends and your treasury is short of funds, you don't have enough money to fight off the darkness and loads of people die, ushering you into a bad ending.
How are we going to fight them all off? That's too many!
Now your shiny new Brightwall Academy will be half empty because the darkness has killed most of its potential students. Fable 3 gives zero indication that this sudden fast forward is about to happen, forcing many a Fable 3 player into a bad ending. This understandably pissed off a few of them, including Emperor Dragon, who also shared, "I remember being so mad at that I didn't even finish the game, even though there was only like 10 minutes left. I just got up, ejected the disc and put it back on the shelf. Maybe you'll come back to it in, I don't know, 121 days.
They seem to be headed towards the camps where the androids have been in turns pending destruction. Soldiers have taken up positions around the Hart Plaza camp. Authorities seem to be expecting a confrontation with the rebel androids here at any time.
Science fiction has often pondered the morality of artificial intelligence, mainly questioning when an AI might be considered to have a soul. As opposed to in real life, where we ponder if it's right that we're using up all our electricity to have AI tell us to use glue to stick cheese on pizza. One sci-fi game that delved into the question of AIs having souls was Detroit Become Human, the android-centric game that was about 75% QuickTime events. If you flub these QuickTime events, you can end up with a terrible outcome, as noted by commenters such as Drace90, who said, "Detroit Become Human. Characters who you've come to feel seriously attached to for 10 hours can just freaking die because of one bad QuickTime decision. And the story just moves on without them. Throughout the game, you take control of multiple characters, and should you choose the wrong conversation option or mess up the wrong QuickTime event, you can get every single one of these soulful androids killed."
No!
That sucks, but there's something ultra special if you get them all killed as quickly as it's possible to do so. Just be generally terrible at fast actions and fast decisions, and you'll speedrun your way into the worst ending it's possible to get. Armed fighting breaks out on the streets of Detroit, which we don't see, but this man in a helicopter says it's definitely happening.
We can see soldiers going through the city at this very moment.
Well, that sounds exciting. Are we going to see any of it? No? Okay. After some more newsreaders talk about the end of the android rebellion and how all the androids are going to be destroyed, the president comes out and talks about the dangers of AI and how the rebellious androids will all be dealt with.
The total destruction of all androids will soon be complete, and the last remaining deviants will be hunted down and destroyed.
Hunting down artificial intelligence? Should be easy to find. They'll be the ones with 8 fingers in all the wrong directions telling you to eat 1 small rock per day.
While some folks like to check every corner of a game, not everyone has the time or patience, and so plenty of people tend to crit path games, aka get through the main quests as quickly as possible without exploring too much. Problem is, the good endings of plenty of games can be locked away behind hidden quests or items. Such is the case with Hollow Knight, as some commenters pointed out, including Mark Seaman 6290, who wrote, "I'd put forwards Hollow Knight as an easy bad ending. Given it's a Metroidvania style game, you wouldn't think, on a first playthrough, that you could be missing anything critical to the end of the game. You wouldn't think that, would you? And yet. If you fight your way through the game and go straight to the final boss, you will get a terrible ending where, upon defeating the Hollow Knight, your character absorbs his ancient sickness known as the Infection and is sealed inside the ominously named Black Egg, basically becoming the new Hollow Knight. To avoid this suboptimal outcome, you need to find the Void Heart, which is hidden away in the Birthplace, a secret area at the bottom of the abyss. And to get in, you need the King Soul equipped. Then you must hit the egg you find inside with the Dream Nail, which you can find from the Dreamer's Memorial in the Resting Grounds, at which point the King Soul will transform into the Void Heart. You writing this all down? But even if you do all that and acquire the all-important Void Heart, there's still no guarantee of a good ending, as Mark also pointed out. bonus points for the fact that you can get a nearly identical ending if you fail to recognize how to get from the first phase of the final boss fight into the next, even if you do have the Void Heart. Not content with one sad ending, should you F up the final boss battle enough, you'll not only get the bad ending, but because of your ineptitude, poor needle-wielding badass NPC Hornet will get trapped in the black egg with you too. She's supposed to be the protagonist of Silk Song. We're never getting that game, are we?
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video about bad endings that you can stumble into way too easily. But friend, guess what you've just stumbled into? That's right, it's the good ending of this video. And you have unlocked 2 new videos to watch as your prize. Wow, lucky you, aren't you lucky? So up here is a video from Outside Xtra, this channel here. You can check out more from us. And down here is Outside Xbox, the other channel, which is also us. But they're different channels. So check out these 2. Wow, I can't believe you did it. Round of applause for getting the good ending. Yeah! Achievement unlocked.